Hey everybody, happy Monday. I hope you guys are all having a great Monday. I hope after tomorrow on Wednesday, we will have a brand new era. And hopefully there will be peace and understanding and compassion all around the world, especially here after the election. But that's not my place to talk about politics. So I want to talk to you guys about really stepping into your identity. I think that we've been indoctrinated, right, by so many things. So how is identity even created? Well, it's in the experiences that we have in our lives, right? It's the upbringing. What's the message that we received from our caregivers to the teachers, more the mentors and the influencers in our lives, right? And how do we interpret some of those things? Because a lot of us have a tendency to downgrade, and we've been demeaned, we've been sort of rejected, or if we've been bullied, or if we've been dismissed, we have these interpretations that we make about the experience, right? And as they say, when we're younger, we're like a sponge. We soak everything in to mean something. And as we go through the puberty years, we're very sensitive to all that, right? We want to fit in and we don't want to stand out. And we have to do the sorority, join a cheerleader team, or just be in the popular crowd, or just belong somewhere. It's the inherent nature of human beings. And the beliefs and the stories that we start to identify ourselves with, it becomes this infinity loop. This is why it's so hard to change, right? Because your identity is hardwired and it's heavily indoctrinated. And it determines how everything you believe plays out in your life. And your life right now, the way you look at it, it comes from the identity of who you believe you are. But remember I said, you're the thinker of your thoughts, right? You're not your thoughts. And whatever it is you believe, if it's not serving you, it's as simple as changing the thought. You draw attention to the better thought that's going to produce better feelings, to take better actions, to create the result in your life. And because this identity tends to be so hidden and unbeknownst to us in most cases, because it's subconscious. Sub meaning it's under the radar. Consciousness, how you behave at the work, how you teach a class or show up for your clients or your patients, is the facade. It's not fully you. There's a professionalism that you bring, no matter what kind of a day you had at home. The personal things and then the feelings and the thoughts that you have that you struggle with, that you are, that is sort of checked at the door before you walk into your professional workplace. And then you have this role that you play. And so I really want you to differentiate yourself between the role you play versus your identity. So I want to challenge you to really start to think about what are some of the things that you are indoctrinated with. Because as you know, functional yoga medicine, the reason why you're listening to this is because you want some nuggets of wisdom on how to stand for something. You know that in your respective field, whether it be physical therapy, chiropractic, or even nutrition, functional medicine, medical doctor, or any profession thereof, we're so boxed in to each of the scope of practices. It's so fragmented because everything becomes indoctrinations and dogmas, and it all depends on what Kool-Aid you drank for that month or year or whatever the field of study you are. But as human beings, as healing promoting or health promoting practitioners that we are collectively, we want to focus on what really, really resonates with our clients. What is our healing experience that we can redefine for the clients that we serve? And that means this authentic way that we can step into our new identity that we want to formulate. I really want to challenge you guys to really rethink the identity you hold so dearly. It's the patterns that you notice, your tendencies, even your characteristics, some of the values you hold They've been so indoctrinated and shaped by your external world that you've forgotten who you are on the inside. There has to be the yin to the yang, right? You can't live your life for other people. And really, I speak in large part to the fact that this healthcare system is broken. And I really want to change the course of it. And I really want a healthier way for us to bridge the gap between sick and healthcare. And I can't just do it by sort of adopting different types of diets or supplements or herbals. And I wish it was that simple. Me being a lupus patient for over 20 years, by the way, I used to not disclose that because it was shameful for a healthcare practitioner to be diagnosed with lupus. It was the most shameful thing. And that feeling of shame is so toxic, right? What made me believe that that was so shameful? It was because I was vulnerable to this disease that was unknown to me. I didn't know what it was going to do to me. But in fact, in my 20s, it attacked my skin. It attacked my hair. I had no hair. I had alopecia. I had bald spots. So it really did attack my very identity of who I believed I was. Look at my hair. I've always had full set of hair. I was the best dressed, voted best dressed. I thought I was going to go become a fashion designer when I was younger because I was that vain. And to be struck with an autoimmune condition at the brink of my graduation from my doctoral studies, to lose all my hair and have this rash on my face, yeah, it affected my identity. And this is the work that I'm sharing with you guys, because when it did affect my identity, it was subconscious to me. The doctors told me it was incurable, that I would have to be subject to corticosteroids. You guys know what side effects does corticosteroid is? It's moon phase, it's weight gain, it's a lot of adrenal issues. It's just not good. Look at the side effects of corticosteroids, prednisone. It's bad news. And I could not believe that as a health promoting nutritionist, like I just got my master's degree in public health nutrition. And nutrition was my life. And I just got my doctoral degree in physical therapy. And I was an avid yogi, and I was a fitness. I was a skier. I was doing so many active things. And yet here I am, so sick. And I didn't know if it was going to kill me because I really felt like it was going to kill me. And then the doctors validated that fact. Everything that I read back then really told me that it was an incurable disease. And being Asian, you're no good as a woman if you can't bear children. And even if I bore children, that they would be broken too. They would have autoimmune genes. And so my boyfriend at the time's parents rejected me. I've never experienced rejection in my life. So that did affect the very identity. I lived with that false sense of identity for over 20 years. So my work has really been uncovering a lot of that. Lots of psychology, lots of nutrition, physical medicine, and functional medicine. These are all the things I had to piece together to get me well. And it wasn't until I thought about these things and really re-identified myself as the strong entrepreneur, successful, and healthy being that I am, and stepped into being that person and committed to that, and really became clear about who I was on the inside, and really defending who I am versus defending my limitations as a lupus patient. It just transformed my life, you guys. And that's what yoga did for me. That's what functional medicine did for me, physical therapy, all the things that I learned in nutrition. But I have to say, there's a lot of biases out there. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of information. There's too much information, and nobody's sitting here connecting the dots. That's what our program is, functional yoga medicine. It's all about really you identifying who you are as the sole identity of who you are and how you emerge practicing everything, and really helping you to recognize that at the end of the day, this field that you're in, whether you're a physical therapist, occupational therapist, nutritionist, the nurse, whatever, you're health promoting practitioners. As such, who are you really on the inside, outside of your role, right? Because if I ask, what do you do, to many people, we say I'm a teacher, I'm an entrepreneur, I am so-and-so's mom. It depends on the context of why you're being asked, right? If I'm at my son's school and somebody asks me what I did, I might say I'm Dylan's mom. Or if it's in a professional setting and they say, what do you do? I might say, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a CEO of whatever, but that's a made up role. But what I want you to consider is who you are on the inside. That's more important in you cultivating that and bringing that identity as you step into your role. It's that transition that makes your role so much more meaningful because you bring yourself to that role that you play wholeheartedly, unwavering by the external circumstances or the indoctrinations or the dogma or any other Kool-Aid won't shake you because now you know who you are. You're solely anchored and aligned and true to your core values in knowing exactly who you are, right? So I want to ask you, whatever age you are, what stories are you telling yourself today? Okay. However old you are, you're living a story in your head that is how many years old that you are. It may not even be true, but you might just keep doing that, right? So I had a patient who was 62 years old, and she said, downright, it's so hard. I'm never going to get married because I can't maintain any relationship because my father was an alcoholic. That's the story that she lived out for over 63 years. When asked further, and she has an autoimmune condition, when asked further and further, there was a lot of misguided belief systems that were so ingrained. And, at first glance, when I tell you something, when I refute your belief system, if you find yourself getting triggered and validating or really defending your limitations, guess what? You get to keep that limitation. How do I know? I've lived like that for so long as a lupus patient. I defended my limitation, and that became a source of identity for me to have this lupus that affects me and my fatigue, and I'm incurable, I'm broken. So I almost felt like everybody else should walk on eggshells for me. And if they weren't sensitive, in my head, the stories that I told was that they didn't care. And then I started to get resentment. It just became a sick story on top of the other, right? And so this can happen to the best of us. And we bring that kind of story in the role that we play as healthcare practitioners. We can't have that. We have to really be evolved and elevated in our ability to be and step into our role by being our best so that we can really, really empower ourselves to do our best by applying the right information at the right time and understanding that there is a full spectrum. It's not one-sided, it's both sides of the same coin, right? And so that we can also embody all the goodness of who we are on the inside and be the best versions of ourselves in the role that we play. By bringing our true identity to that role is really what this is all about. And why functional yoga medicine? Well, because it's functional. Everything we do in life serves a function, right? And the medicine is the healing antidote. It's a healing solution to our problem for our health. And yoga is sort of the union to self. So it's bringing and empowering, elevating everybody to be their best so that they're empowered to do their best so that they can embody the best versions of themselves. The tactics by which we do that really, really depends on the patient or the client. But we all start with you as the practitioner to delve deep within to really get clarity around who you are. Not the indoctrinated version of you, but the truth of who you are. Bring that and uncover that first and foremost, and then choose to step into the role with conviction and clarity and knowing exactly how, why, and what you're going to do so that your clients have no choice but to listen because you're specifically clear in your niche and all the things that you bring in all the things, including psychology, nutrition, physical medicine, functional medicine, energy medicine, and even Pilates under the umbrella of yoga by pulling it all together. No more fragmented pieces and piecemealing things together and telling and referring your patients out, right? I want you to be the sole provider to empower, elevate, empower, and embody the best version of you and demonstrate what's possible, the healing journey that lies ahead for your clients because you've been on that journey. And really step into the role and the identity of being true to who you are and really be honest about standing for something, recognizing that something doesn't work. And let's be the purple cow that Seth Godin talks about in marketing, right? This is a time where we really have to really stand for something and stand with unwavering conviction that we need a better system in our healthcare system to better equip our clients to be their best so that they can be empowered to do their best and give them everything that they need so that they can embody the best versions of themselves so that they can come back to loving themselves again and find their true identity. And you recognizing and being a part of that is the most edifying role that you can play in your lives. So stop marginalizing, commoditizing, and just playing and pushing paper all day and not feeling fulfilled in the line of work that you do. Stand for something and really start to apply. Functional yoga medicine is what this is. And type of yoga, we don't hold on to any type of yoga. And this is what I go against, right? Yoga looks different for everybody. It's everybody's healing experience. Yoga is the union from mind, body. It's the union to self. It's really gaining clarity from within through the practice. We have poses, right? But the poses, the outcome of any pose isn't the goal. It's the process of going through each pose and moving from one pose to another through really connecting all the functional movements in the way we are designed to move. Understanding the biomechanical principles involved in each of our joints like shoulders, hips, knees, ankles, everything that has to support the movement is considered physically. And then our yoga practice goes above and beyond to extend into our mental, psychological, as well as emotional and spiritual aspects. And those are the layers of onion that we tap into so that we're able to do a lot more than just give them functional mobility, ways to move so that they can have tone and flexibility. Those are all important to be able to do the three functions in the body, which is elimination, right? Detoxification and metabolism. And then I unpack a lot of those things. Functional yoga medicine is really about bringing all the disciplines under one roof and no longer fragmenting all the disciplines by separating the parts of the body, but treating the body as a whole by incorporating the psychology, nutrition, physical medicine, energy medicine, functional medicine under the guise of yoga. So that's why we call it functional yoga medicine. And it's a private group if you guys are interested. We just finished our 10-day workshop that we hosted last week. And so if you're interested, go into our group. It's called Functional Yoga Medicine, and it's a free Facebook group. And we have a lot of PTs, OTs, a lot of healthcare practitioners, as well as yoga teachers who are interested. I hope you guys got it. And any other questions you have, you guys can ask me there. We're there a lot. And we give you a lot of information about that because time is now, time is of essence to really, really stand for something and do some things and be a part of a solution rather than be a part of the problem, right? So whatever background that you have, there's a better way to do things. There's a better way to practice functional medicine. There's a better way to practice nutrition. There's a better way to practice yoga. Not get hung up on what type of yoga so much as is how does yoga impact and what kind of yoga do you need and how do you have mind-body mastery so that you have self-mastery, so that you have health mastery, and then ultimately that you have life mastery that goes from inside out. It's really about the 3 E's: really elevating the way you think about your identity and really stepping into it so that you can be your best, so that you can really empower yourself to, with all the tactics and tools to do your best, so that you can embody the best version of you, the healthiest version of you. And so that's what functional yoga medicine is all about. I hope you enjoyed this podcast and this show. And if you are, please head over. It would mean the world to me if you guys can subscribe to our podcast and also leave us a review. And if once you leave a review, you can DM me at Functional Yoga Medicine in Instagram, and I will gift you a menu plan. It's an elimination diet plan guide that's amazingly written. It's a little book on the healthiest and alkalizing diet plan that you can start with to reset your body. So please do so and leave me any comments, and I'd love to hear from you. And I read all the reviews, so that would mean the world to me. And I will see you guys all next week. Thank you so much. Bye.